Are you serious?
No help. Ow, that hurts.
The icy Bering Sea is not a place for the faint of heart. Towering waves crash against steel decks, the wind screams like a siren, the temperature bites through every layer of clothing. This is where the television show Deadliest Catch takes viewers year after year. Since it first aired in 2005, the series has shown the real danger of crab fishing in Alaska. One of the most treacherous jobs on Earth. Crews work around the clock, pulling 700-pound crab pots in sub-zero weather, with frost and sea spray freezing everything in sight. One slip on the slick deck can mean disaster. Yet despite all this, there are men and women who keep returning, driven by duty, by tradition, and by the promise of one more successful season. At the center of it all stands Captain Sig Hansen of the fishing vessel Northwestern, a name now known around the world. Sig Hansen's story begins long before the cameras ever rolled. He was born in Seattle, Washington, on April 28, 1966, into a proud Norwegian-American family. His father, Sig Hansen, was a pioneer of Alaska's crab fishing industry. Sig grew up surrounded by the smell of salt water and diesel, listening to stories of storms and survival. He spoke Norwegian at home before he even learned English. As a boy, he loved to draw boats with tall stacks of smoke and imagined himself captaining one someday. By the time he was 14, he was already working on his father's boat during summer breaks, learning how to set pots, read the sea, and respect its unpredictable power. Every season was a lesson in courage and discipline. Those early years built the foundation for the man who would later command one of the most famous fishing vessels on television. After high school, Sig decided that fishing was not just a summer job, it was his life. At 22, he became a relief captain on the Northwestern. Only a few years later, at 24, he took full command. That was rare for someone so young in such a brutal business, but Sig had already proven himself capable. His brothers, Edgar and Norman, worked beside him. Together, they turned the Northwestern into a symbol of safety and success. Under Sig's leadership, the crew often pulled in the highest crab totals in the fleet. But more important to him, they did it without losing a man. Many vessels were not so lucky. The Bering Sea has claimed hundreds of lives over the decades. Sig's strict rules and deep respect for the ocean kept his team alive. He demanded hard work, but treated his crew like family, knowing that loyalty and trust were the only things that could hold them together when the waves reached 50 feet high. When Discovery Channel created Deadliest Catch, they chose Sig's Northwestern as one of the main boats. His natural leadership and honest reactions made him a fan favorite. He didn't play to the camera. He just worked. Viewers saw his temper, his humor, his exhaustion, and his relief when a trip ended safely. Through him, audiences learned about crab quotas, shifting seasons, and the physical and mental toll of the job. The show's narrator, Mike Rowe, described it as a modern-day gold rush, where fortune and death sailed side by side. Ratings exploded, and Sig became not just a fisherman, but a television star. Still, he always said the fame didn't change what mattered most, getting his crew home alive. As a technical advisor for the show, he made sure every scene stayed real. He refused to fake drama because, as he liked to say, the ocean gives us enough drama on its own. The success of Deadliest Catch transformed how people viewed fishermen. Before the show, few realized how dangerous crab fishing really was. Now millions saw it firsthand. The freezing spray coating the railings, the ropes snapping under pressure, the endless noise of engines and winches. Statistics once hidden in government reports: 300 deaths per 100,000 workers suddenly had faces and families. Sig Hansen helped humanize a risky, overlooked profession. Yet behind the fame, his own life was filled with challenges that went far beyond what television could show. He faced storms not only at sea, but also in his health, his family, and even in court. Those challenges would test everything he believed about strength and endurance as the years passed. Sig's career and personal life grew more complicated. He was no longer just a captain. He was a husband, a father, and a public figure. He married June Hansen, a quiet and devoted partner who supported him through every storm. They raised 2 daughters. Nina and Mandy. His brothers Edgar and Norman remained key parts of the Northwestern, keeping the business in the family. Viewers often saw the family bond on camera, moments of laughter, tension, and pride. When Mandy joined the crew, it was emotional for Sig. He had always dreamed of passing his knowledge down. Seeing his daughter at the wheelhouse filled him with joy. Mandy quickly proved herself capable, handling rough weather and long hours with the same calm strength her father was known for. But behind the smiles, rumors began to spread. Fans noticed Sig looking tired and sometimes weak during later seasons. Online forums buzzed with questions. Was Captain Sig sick? Would he retire? In 2016, the truth became clear. While filming, Sig suddenly collapsed on deck. Cameras captured the terrifying moment, his crew shouting, radioing for help. It turned out he had suffered a heart attack. Later, Sig said he didn't remember much, only that he felt a strange pressure and then darkness. The incident shocked fans worldwide. Amazingly, after recovering, he returned to sea the next season. "Fishing is who I am," he told reporters. Yet fate wasn't done testing him. In 2018, he had another heart attack, this time triggered by an allergic reaction to antibiotics. Most people would have retired, but not Sig. Once again, he recovered and went back to work. Then came more painful news. In 2019, his wife June was diagnosed with cancer. The show documented his heartbreak as he struggled to stay focused at sea while worrying about her back home. He said the experience changed him forever. For a man used to fighting waves, this was a storm he couldn't control. Thankfully, by 2025, Sig shared that June had fully recovered. Fans were relieved to hear that she was in remission and doing well. Sig described it as a miracle and thanked everyone who had sent messages of support. Those difficult years reminded him how fragile life can be and how important family truly is. He began thinking more about time, how much he had spent at sea, and how much he had missed on land. In interviews, Sig started speaking openly about aging and fear. "When you're young, you think you're invincible," he said. "Now I see how many people we've lost out there. I think about it every time we sail." Before the premiere of Deadliest Catch Season 21, he admitted that things were different now. He was more cautious, more reflective. The new season took the crew farther west than ever before, to a place called Ada Island, abandoned for decades. The seas were rough, the waves 50 feet high, and the wind unforgiving. But Sig pushed on, teaming up with fellow captain Jonathan Hillstrand, instead of competing against him. It was a new kind of adventure, a reminder that teamwork often matters more than rivalry. During that same season, tragedy struck another vessel when Jake Anderson's Titan Explorer began to sink. Hearing that friends were in the water shook Sig deeply. He said that in moments like that, everyone in the fleet comes together, no matter the competition. Out there, he explained, you do whatever it takes to bring people home. That sense of community among fishermen became one of the reasons viewers connected so strongly to the show. So, when Sig finally confirmed the rumors, yes, his health had declined, and yes, he was considering retirement, it felt less like gossip and more like closure. He told People magazine that he still loved the sea, but wanted to spend more time with his grandchildren. "I used to laugh at old guys talking about their grandkids," he said. "Now, I'm that guy, and I love it." It was a rare moment of softness from a man known for his iron will. For nearly 20 years, audiences had watched him battle storms, ice, and exhaustion. Hearing him talk about slowing down made fans realize that even the toughest captains are human. Of course, Sig's journey hasn't been without controversy. Over the years, he faced legal troubles that made headlines, lawsuits, personal disputes, and old family issues. While some of these claims were painful, many were settled or dismissed, and Sig continued to focus on his work. What mattered most to him was protecting his crew, his family, and his legacy. Through it all, he stayed open with fans, never pretending to be perfect. He often said, "The sea teaches you humility. You can't control everything." That honesty became part of his charm and why so many viewers still admire him today. Now, 58, Sig Hansen stands at a crossroads. He has survived 2 heart attacks, helped his wife through cancer, weathered lawsuits, and faced countless storms at sea. Yet he continues to smile when he talks about fishing. For him, the ocean is not just a job. It's a part of who he is. "I'll always be a fisherman," he once said. "Even when I'm done captaining, the sea will still call me." Still, he admits that every year it gets harder. The cold cuts deeper, the hours feel longer, and the risks feel heavier. He has begun training Mandy to take over full-time. Watching her stand in the wheelhouse fills him with both pride and relief. He knows the Northwestern is in good hands. What sets Sig apart is not just skill but wisdom earned through hardship. In a recent interview, he spoke about ego and greed, the dangerous mix that nearly cost him his life. He recalled a time when his boat began to ice over in freezing weather. He should have turned back, but pride told him to keep going. The ice grew thicker until the ship nearly capsized. "That was ego," he admitted. "I was lucky we made it." Since then, he's learned to listen to his instincts and to the sea itself. He tells younger captains, if the ocean tells you no, you listen. These lessons are what he hopes to pass on to Mandy and to every fisherman watching Deadliest Catch. Respect for the ocean, for one's limits, and for the people who stand beside you. That's what keeps you alive. Beyond the wheelhouse, Sig's influence reaches farther than most realize. As a producer and advisor, he helped shape Deadliest Catch into a show that not only entertains, but educates. Its real-life footage of accidents and rescues has inspired new safety laws and training for commercial fishermen. The Coast Guard, once overlooked by the public, now receives global appreciation thanks to the series. Many young viewers have even joined maritime schools after watching. Sig says that if the show has saved even one life, all the exhaustion and danger were worth it. Over time, Deadliest Catch became more than a television show, became a tribute to hard, honest labor and the people who risk everything to put food on our tables today. Sig balances work with family more carefully. He spends more time at home in Seattle, enjoying quiet mornings with June and playtime with his grandkids. When asked about retirement, he smiles. "I'm not done yet," he says, "but I can see the finish line." He wants his final seasons to be about teaching, not proving. His daughter's growth as a leader gives him hope that the Hansen name will sail on for another generation. Even so, he knows every trip could be his last. The sea has taken many of his friends, and he never forgets that risk. That awareness has made him humbler and more grateful for every sunrise he sees from the deck. Sig's story is one of endurance and transformation. He began as a restless kid drawing boats and became a global icon for perseverance. He has faced storms of water and storms of life, and somehow he keeps steering forward. Viewers connect with him not because he is perfect, but because he is real, a man who admits fear, makes mistakes, and keeps trying. His journey reminds us that courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to keep going in spite of it. Whether he chooses to retire soon or continue fishing a few more years, his legacy is secure. He changed television, inspired safer seas, showed millions what true grit looks like. As this chapter of his life nears its end, Sig often talks about gratitude. He thanks his crew for trusting him, his family for standing by him, and his fans for watching all these years. He says the greatest reward is knowing that people around the world understand what fishermen go through. For many viewers, Deadliest Catch is not just a show, it's a lesson in hard work, teamwork, and the price of survival. And at the heart of that lesson is Captain Sig Hansen, a man who faced the sea, faced himself, and found meaning in both. So what comes next for Sig Hansen? Only time will tell. Maybe he will take one last voyage across the Bering Sea, or maybe he'll hand the wheel to Mandy and finally rest. Either way, he has earned the right to choose. As fans, we can only thank him for sharing his world with us, the fear, the danger, and the triumph. If the sea truly shapes a person, and the waves have carved Sig Hansen into something rare, a man of courage, humility, and heart. And as the sun sets over the endless northern horizon, you can almost hear his voice on the radio one last time. This is the Northwestern. We're heading home. Even though Sig Hansen often talks about stepping away from the sea, it's hard to imagine him truly leaving it behind. The Bering Sea has shaped him in every possible way, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. It's where he became a man, a leader, and a symbol of what determination looks like. When he walks along the docks in Seattle, other fishermen still call out to him with respect. To them, Sig isn't just a TV star. He's one of their own. Someone who's been through the same sleepless nights, the same frozen storms, and the same moments of fear that every fisherman knows. Over the years, Sig has become something of a mentor to younger captains and deckhands. Many of them grew up watching him on Deadliest Catch, learning the importance of discipline and safety from his example. When they finally meet him, they often say the same thing. "You taught us how to fish smart." Sig always laughs when he hears that, but deep down, he's proud. He knows that the lessons he shares about teamwork, patience, and listening to the ocean have saved lives. He often reminds newcomers that the Bering Sea doesn't forgive mistakes. "You can't beat the ocean," he says. "You can only learn to work with it." As time has passed, Sig's thoughts have also turned toward the future of the fishing industry itself. The crab population has changed over the years due to climate shifts and stricter regulations. Warmer water and unpredictable ice seasons have forced fishermen to adapt. Some years the catch is strong. Other years, it's heartbreakingly low. Sig has seen entire seasons canceled to protect crab stocks from collapsing. He understands that sustainability isn't just a buzzword, it's survival. If we don't protect the resource, he warns, we won't have anything left to fish for. That practical wisdom has made him an advocate for smarter fishing methods and environmental awareness. He believes that respecting the sea means respecting the life it holds. In recent interviews, Sig has reflected on how fame has changed his perspective. When Deadliest Catch began, he didn't think anyone outside of the fishing world would care. But when letters started arriving from fans, kids, veterans, teachers, he realized the show had struck something deeper. People weren't just watching for the adventure. They were inspired by the courage and teamwork they saw. Sig says some of his most meaningful moments have come from meeting fans who tell him that watching him overcome danger helped them face their own struggles, from illness to financial hardship. "That's when you realize this show isn't just about crab," he said. "It's about people trying to make it through life storms." That sense of purpose has helped Sig find peace in recent years. He still loves the sea, but he no longer feels he has to prove himself. Instead, he sees his role as one of guidance and storytelling. When he speaks at maritime schools or community events, his message is always the same: respect the work, respect the people, and never underestimate nature. Students often ask him if he's ever truly been afraid. His answer surprises them. Every single time, he says. The ocean doesn't care who you are. If you're not scared, you're not paying attention. It's that honesty. Admitting vulnerability while showing courage. That makes him so relatable to fans around the world. Off camera, Sig has found comfort in simple things. He enjoys cooking at home, especially seafood dishes that remind him of his Norwegian roots. He spends more time gardening and taking care of his house in Seattle, things he rarely had time for before. Friends say he's mellowed with age, but still has that sharp sense of humor. He loves telling stories from his younger days, like the time a massive wave nearly threw him overboard, or when a prank between crew members got hilariously out of hand. These lighter moments show the side of Sig that many people don't get to see on screen: the joker, the storyteller, and the man who can find laughter even in tough times. For June, his wife, these quieter years are a blessing. After her long battle with cancer, both of them value each day more deeply. They often travel together now, visiting Norway to see relatives and spending time near the water, but without the stress of crab seasons. Sig says those trips remind him of his father, Sver, and the family roots that connect them across generations. He keeps an old photo of his dad on the bridge of the Northwestern, right next to a picture of Mandy. "It reminds me why I do this," he says, "to honor where we came from and to make sure it continues." As Mandy continues to grow into her leadership role, Sig has started to enjoy watching her succeed without feeling the need to control everything. She's already faced harsh weather, engine failures, and tough crew decisions, all the things that made her father the captain he is today. When she radios him for advice, he sometimes jokes, "Figure it out yourself, that's how I learned." But he's always there if she truly needs him. Seeing his daughter take command has given Sig something rare, the ability to step back and trust the next generation. "She's tougher than I was at her age," he says proudly. "That's how I know she's ready." Looking ahead, Sig hopes to use his platform to shine a light on mental health among fishermen. The pressures of the job, the isolation, and the long separations from family can take a heavy toll. Over the years, he's lost friends to accidents, illness, and even depression. "It's not just physical danger we face," he explains. "It's emotional too." He wants younger fishermen to know that asking for help doesn't make them weak. It's part of surviving, just like wearing a life jacket or checking the weather. That willingness to speak about difficult subjects shows how much Sig has grown, both as a captain and as a person. There's a sense of calm in how he talks now. He's no longer racing against the clock or fighting to prove his toughness. Instead, he talks about balance, about knowing when to fight and when to rest. "The sea will always be there," he says, "but the people you love might not. So you make time for them." It's a lesson that came from hard experience, but one that resonates with anyone who has ever worked too hard chasing something just out of reach. When asked what he wants his legacy to be, Sig doesn't mention ratings or money. He simply says, "I want people to remember that we did it right. We worked hard, we stayed honest, and we came home." Those words could easily serve as the closing line of his life's documentary. They sum up the spirit of a man who faced the elements, faced himself, and never gave up, even if one day the Northwestern sails without him. Sig Hansen's presence will still echo in every wave, every storm, and every shout of haul back. On the deck, his story isn't just about fishing. It's about resilience, humility, and love for something greater than yourself. And as the Bering Sea continues to roar beneath gray northern skies, you can imagine Sig standing on the dock, hands in his pockets, watching the boats head out once more. He smiles, nods, and whispers the same words he said 1,000 times before. "Be safe, boys. Bring her home." The ocean is a place of beauty, power, and endless mystery. But for those who make their living on it, the ocean can also be a place of danger and sacrifice. Every wave tells a story, some of survival, others of loss. Among the people who have dedicated their lives to this unpredictable world, few names carry as much weight as Captain Sig Hansen. His face, weathered by decades of salt and cold wind, is known to millions through the reality series Deadliest Catch, but beyond the fame and the cameras lies a man who has lived through storms both at sea and in life for more than 40 years. Sig Hansen has battled some of the harshest conditions on Earth, towering waves, freezing winds, and the constant threat of death. The Bering Sea does not forgive mistakes, and Sig knows that truth better than anyone. Every time his vessel, the Northwestern, leaves Dutch Harbor, he carries not only the hope of a good catch, but also the fear that he and his crew may not return. Yet, even with all that danger, he keeps going back. Why? Because for Sig, fishing isn't just a job. It's a way of life, calling passed down from generations of Norwegian fishermen before him. People often see Deadliest Catch is just a TV show about crab fishing. But for the men and women behind it, it's a story about strength, family, and endurance. When the cameras roll, they capture real lives at risk, real friendships tested, and real moments of fear and triumph. Sig Hansen has been at the center of that story since day one. Through all the storms, rivalries, and heartbreaks, he's become not just a captain, but a symbol of resilience. But the journey hasn't been easy. Over the years, Sig has faced health scares, personal loss, and controversies that could have ended his career. He's battled heart attacks, family struggles, and the heavy weight of leadership. Yet every time life knocked him down, he got back up, stronger, wiser, and more grateful. His story is proof that even the toughest people can face moments of weakness, and that true courage is about standing tall after the fall. The rumors surrounding him in recent years have left many fans worried and curious. Is Captain Sig Hansen retiring? Has his health forced him to leave the sea behind? Or is there something deeper going on? In this video, we uncover the truth behind those questions, the man behind the captain. the family behind the fame, and the legacy that continues to inspire millions. This is more than just the story of a fisherman. It's the story of a man who has faced nature's fury, life's uncertainty, and his own limits, and still found purpose in every storm. So, grab your coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the remarkable life of Captain Sig Hansen, a man who turned danger into destiny and left his mark on the Bering Sea forever.